Uh, Very good morning, all of you. And I was told that you are law students of ICFAI Law University. I think actually this environment and biodiversity is an interdisciplinary study, and our scientists, they are biologists. They work in the field of conservation, but without policy backup, it is not possible to conserve. That is the reason your role is very crucial in conserving our biological diversity, as our scientist has already explained. And you are going to make interpret laws and help in protection of the biodiversity and the environment. That is essential for our conserving biodiversity. And the theme also says that we have to live in harmony with nature and manage our resources sustainably. And the concept he has already explained. And why we are not living in harmony with nature? Because our consumption patterns have been changed, our production patterns have been changed, the industrialization is happening rapidly, and we are depleting our resources very rapidly, and our consumption also levels are also very increased. And if we see our father or grandfather, their consumption were limited, and see our consumption, how many folds it is increased, our consumption. How many pairs of clothes during our childhood we used to wear, and now how many pairs of clothes and shoes and what other things you are changing, and you are changing every week, you are replacing with it. And whether the earth can able to recycle it or replace restore it to that is the problem. In nature, all living organisms live in harmony with nature except human beings. Whatever waste generated by all other organisms, whether animals, plants, whatever they generate, that will be recycled and used by the nature in some way or the other. Already our GCR explained that how ecosystems, they interchange minerals, nutrients among themselves. All other organisms, whatever they produce, that is used. Nothing will be wasted except human beings. We generate whatever we are generating, that is contributing to waste, that is contributing to pollution. That is the reason we are not able to live in harmony with nature. And what are the solutions? To the extent possible, we can also live in harmony. Our predecessors, even if you go to the interior tribal areas, their pattern of living, their pattern of agriculture cultivation, their food consumption patterns, they are very much harmonious. Even their agriculture patterns also harmonious. I worked in Arunachal Pradesh. Some tribes they live, Nishi tribes they live. They with using natural stream they divert into paddy fields. They cultivate paddy and fishing simultaneously. They don't use any organic pesticides. They don't use any fertilizers. They produce fish and rice in the same field. That is very self-sustainable. And most of our agriculture systems or forest ecosystems, they have become, or even aquatic production systems, they are not self-sustainable, because most of the cases the carrying capacity is limited. As you know, the carrying capacity is, assessment of carrying capacity is very essential in sustainable management. If we exceed the carrying capacity, it will not replenish it. It cannot sustain any ecosystem. If you see, our agriculture is failure, because why? We are using more fertilizers, more pesticides. The soils are very much degraded. That is not sustainable agriculture. We have to maintain the potential of the soil. Then only it can be able to produce in the future also. For immediate gains, for more getting more production, we are using fertilizers, pesticides. Earlier the pesticides were rapidly very much used, because we have to achieve green revolution. We have to attain self-sufficiency in food grain production. We were using fertilizers, pesticides. We have achieved sustainability in the food grain production. But what happened? We have degraded our environment. We have degraded our agriculture ecosystems. We have polluted our water bodies. We have polluted our rivers. And the soils are very much degraded, and that is not a sustainable agriculture. We have to go for, nowadays we are suggesting for the nature-based solutions. We can use biopesticides, we can use biofertilizers, we can reduce even that sustainable development goals. This Kunming Montreal targets also our faculty will teach. and that also says that we have to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. We have to go for organic farming. That is very much essential for harmony with nature. That is very much harmonious with nature. That is the reason our scientists also working in that direction. Production of earlier they were not recognized the harmful effects of this chemical pesticides. Now they are very much they are using insecticides, because we are in the same line of evolution. Insects are, they are also on the same line of evolution. If the chemical fertilizer or pesticide is harmful to insect, means that will equally harmful to human beings and animals also. Then a lot of people, the diseases are increasing, and they are increasing production of they are targeted. But at the same time we have increased the diseases also. Many areas where this rampant use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides is there we notice this cancer, more cancer cases are found. Like that many other diseases also there. We are polluting our water bodies. Even your this legal intervention is very much essential. And this constitution you must have read, no? This article 51A subclass G, it is your fundamental duty to protect our lakes, water bodies, environment, and you should live in compassion with wildlife. You should not destroy your environment. That is your fundamental duty. But you have to recognize it and you have to tell. And not only your fundamental duty, and there is a direction is also given to government also. Directive principles, article 48A, and directive principles. That is the reason the government has made many laws, and many legal professionals like you are working for the protection. And our courts also evolved many principles or doctrines. You know, this polluter pays principle. The polluter has to compensate, and it is his duty to prove that his project is not harmful to the people. It is not the people who is the victim or who are going to be affected. It is the duty of the project proponent to prove that it is not harmful, or he has to make the adequate measures to prevent any harm in future. Whatever project it may be, any industry may be there, any fertilizer factory may be there, pesticide factory may be there, or other hydroelectricity project may be there, any other thing. But destroying forest is where opportunity costs are more. Every project they have to go for cost benefit analysis has to be done. That is essential. And other doctrine you must know, precautionary principle doctrine has been evolved. All precautions should be taken, whatever project any project proponent they have to take it. And more important is that all our natural resources, all our forests, all these are considered as a trust. We are the trustees. Government is the trustee because they are the public goods, and we are the trustees. Like in a temple trust, what you will do? You will work for the progression of the trust, not going to destroy. You will not take anything from it. Whatever you take, you have to again contribute and propagate it. Like a temple trust, everybody will contribute. Nobody will take or destroy it. That is the reason our temple trust will perpetuate forever. Like that, your forest or natural resource should also be perpetuated. It should not be destroyed for immediate gain or for personal gain, because all these are public goods, not private goods. Private good, you will take care of your good, but public goods, who will take care? It is the collective role. We all have to take. That is the reason this public trustee doctrineship has been evolved. We all are the trustees, and we should not destroy it. And that is the reason this courts also saying that we have to manage our resources judiciously, and we have to conserve our resources, and whatever we take, we have to replenish it, and we should not exceed the carrying capacity. Many areas in urban areas and even urban parks also, wherever you go, there is carrying capacity is being exceeded. Without the proper assessment, these permissions are given. But nowadays this consciousness is coming up, and this urban municipal bodies also, they are also restricting, putting clauses, conditions before giving permission to any building construction. This green building concept has been evolved. They should not use more energy, like I was telling about light, switching of lights. The building should be such a way they should be constructed, it should consume less electricity, less power should be consumed. And this is the living in harmony with nature. And many municipal bodies, they are telling that even 1/3 area should be left for green spaces. for construction of anything. And there should be adequate, earlier they used to release all sewage waste into river. Now it is mandatory to put sewage treatment plant in each colony. Without that, they will not give permission for your building construction. That is mandatory, but it should be enforced properly. The sewage treatment plant is mandatory for building construction, and they should ensure that even government is also subsidizing, because this pollution what they create, negative externalities. Negative externalities, they are not calculated in the economy. In pricing, they are not considered. They generate pollution. They will consider the cost of the raw materials, and they will fix the price of the end product, and we will buy that product. But who will bear the cost of that pollution? They are the negative externalities. They should be brought into the pricing pattern. Then only the effect of negative externalities can be reduced. That is the reason this green tax concept has come. They are putting green tax for these polluting vehicles and subsidizing this green vehicles like electric vehicles. That is understood, no? This green tax concept, it is justifiable. Whoever is polluting, they have to country. Then only it will come into this pricing pattern. Then we can reduce. And this capping is also being done nowadays. Capping of emissions. Between net zero neutrality, we have to achieve by 2070. That is what our government committed under UNFCCC. But we are far lagging behind. Many industries still there is no capping is done, and no emissions, they are not being traded. They are freely releasing. But it should be taken care. This capping of the emissions should be taken for our industries also, and then only they can go for clean development mechanism. Unless it is enforced, no industry will stick to these emission standards. Even though we have made Air Act, but not being implemented properly. We have made your 74 Water Act. Under that, we have established state pollution control boards, central pollution control boards. Whether how much they are effective, you can see. You are being a law student, you can have a study, and how far they are effective since 1974. All these years, how whether they could able to, all 50 years have gone, how much effectively they are functioning, you can study this pollution control board state. They have established laboratories also, testing laboratories. They are prescribing standards, pollution standards for sewage and other treatment. But how far they are enforcing, state governments are enforcing, central pollution control board is enforcing, and how these scientists, pollution scientists, they are prescribing standards, whether updating or not, they are updating or not. All these aspects you have to study, being a legal student, and you have to consider these legal aspects also. And another important act you must have studied, 86 Environment Protection Act you must have studied. Under that, section 3 is very important section. Under section 3, we have made all rules, environmental rules. We have made coastal zone management rules. We have made solid waste management rules. We have made hazardous waste management rules. We have made this environmental impact assessment rules. Like that, many all other rules are made under section 3 of Environment Protection Act 1986. That is an important act, environmental act brought down, legislated by Indian Parliament, and that is being implemented. Under that only we were able to make all the rules, because this coastal pollution, as he was telling, that is a major problem. As per SDG, Sustainable Development Goals also, we have to protect 30% of this water bodies we have to protect and restore back. And earlier it was a concept that ocean can absorb anything. Whatever waste you dump it, it can absorb and recycle it. That is not true. Ocean is as its own carrying capacity. It is its limitations. It can't absorb everything what you dump inside it. And even though plastics cannot be degraded in ocean also, even hazardous sewage, it cannot recycle it. Even that is the reason many marine life is also being destroyed. We have to conserve as per SDG goals, as per this Kunming targets of 2030. 30% of our marine life also should be protected. For that we should not release industrial effluents into coastal bodies, coastal water bodies, because they don't go deep inside. They will be retained along the coast only. Most of the marine life is concentrated on the coastal areas only. and from it has many ramifications. This polluting industry release into coastal areas, but coastal people, many fishermen are dependent, lives are dependent, and their lives are affected. And as you know, there's many cases were filed under the Article 21, like many people like you, many legal experts like you, filed under Article 21 because their livelihoods are affected. And under the Article 32, you have writ jurisdiction. You can file writ petition in Supreme Court under Article 32. You can file writ petition in High Court also under 226. These are the legal remedies you have. You have to use it and you have to enforce it for the protection of the environment as per conservation of the biodiversity. That is the reason we have brought here. The only biodiversity means only scientists, life science scientists, they will work for conservation of biodiversity. That is not the case. It is the important role you have, legal experts and policy makers. They have to enforce and they have to interpret the laws and they have to help in conserving the biodiversity and even our consumption pattern also. You can suggest what kind of consumption this government should promote to the people. Even we are 90% of our area is cultivated under rice and wheat only. Rice and wheat, they need more fertilizers, more water, more greenhouse gas emission. Instead that you can go for millet consumption. They need less water, less input costs, less production costs, and more healthier nutrient food you will get. Your consumption patterns also should change, so that it should have least impact on our environment. The production system should have least impact on environment, and the consumption should generate least wastes. If you use such products which generate more waste, means you are indirectly harming the environment. Ultimately, the carbon footprint, whatever you generate, that should be reduced. Then only you can conserve your biodiversity, your environment, your resources. Ultimately, you should reduce your carbon footprint. For that, you have to consume. Your consumption patterns also should change. You have to go for alternate energy sources instead of this fossil fuel based energy sources. That is the reason many international level also certifying bodies, they have come up. The goods produced using clean development mechanisms will have to fetch more price in the market. But who will buy those products? But it should be ensured, no? And they should be subsidized for production of goods using clean development mechanisms or the sustainable production mechanisms or nature friendly production mechanisms or nature farming systems. People are producing using nature based systems, agriculture ecosystems, and the goods should fetch more prices, and there should be taxation should be there in such a way. This progressive taxation you say in your income tax or what, because many of you may be tax liars, but it should be the taxation should be such a way that the goods which pollute more should be taxed more, and those goods which produced using less pollutants, they generate less pollutants or produce less waste should be subsidized. This is the consumption pattern. The production pattern, consumption pattern should be equally taxed or subsidized. That government should be made to, even while formulating budget, the finance minister also announced this business responsibility and sustainable reporting. Many of you are maybe becoming ESG reporting lawyers, or earlier the reporting pattern also. Chartered accountant used to make their accounts audit for all the companies. Now it has changed because this BRSR reporting is also mandatory. This ESG reporting means environmental social governance reporting is also mandatory, and they can't. Chartered accountant can't do it. They have to hire an expert, environmental lawyer like you, and they have to audit. Everything will be audited. How much pollutants they are, solid waste they are generating, how much they are recycling it, how much liquid waste they are generating, how they are recycling, how much carbon footprint they are generating. All this should be auditable, accountable, and it should be reported under business responsibility, sustainability reporting. It is mandatory for all listed companies, 1000 listed companies. They have to submit to the SEBI as per the SEBI guidelines. all listed companies, they have to submit BRSR reporting also. But ultimately, even in next budget, coming budget, they will bring into all other companies may be brought under the purview of the ESG reporting, BRSR reporting, and these things should be, that will enable us to conserve our biodiversity, our nature can be protected, our recycles, even under the circular concept also, circular economic concept, we have to repair, reuse, recycle and refurbish, so that our waste can be least generated, and that will have least impact on our earth, water bodies, environment, and our carbon footprint can be reduced. As you know, we are the signatory to UNFCCC CBD, UNFCCC, UNCBD, and UNCCD also. We have to conserve our natural resources also, because most of the migrations are taking place from this wherever these soils are were degraded, those areas like North Saharan desert areas, African countries. Why they migrate to Europe through Mediterranean Sea? Because this Saharan is area, most of the areas are the desert areas degraded, and our Rajasthan desert also. Wherever this they could not produce, agriculture fails, the people migration will more happens. And if we conserve biodiversity, if we conserve our soils, if we conserve our water bodies, this migration of people can be reduced, and they can get sustainable employment. And under SDG goals also, this employment should be sustainable and innovative. We have to adopt innovative practices, so that it can reduce the pollution effects, and we can able to conserve. And with this, I will thank you all of you for coming to our institute, and you can get exposure to our campus, our labs, and our you can have a live visit of our campus. You can have a knowledge about your biodiversity, how they are conserving, what is the importance of these ecosystems, and all these things you can have this in today's session you can have, because in your campus you may be having your theoretical classes, but this is a practical exposure to you. You can incite you to go for this nature conservation, and I wish you all the best. I think most of you may become some environmental scientists or such important position, and I wish you all the best for your future career. You have taken a good, selected a good profession, legal profession. It is as good as equally important career. In this is a good profession, I say, legal profession. Nowadays, your role is also very much increasing in all areas. Your legal experts are coming, and from not only from crimes to space, everywhere your legal scientists are. They have important role at international level also. Even environment also equally important field for you. And thank you all.